We must defend. Make we talk, people. Make we talk. Oh, na. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark the talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. Make we talk.
Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. We're listening from around the world and the Eastern Caribbean. This is the Make We Talk program here on WCPP and WZOP, the voice of the Caribbean. This afternoon, before we go any further, the Pinnacle of Faith Ministries that broadcasts on this radio station here is seeking your donation in helping needy kids in Jamaica. It's an annual thing that Pastor Dr. Claude O'Brien does, and they're seeking your donation in helping needy kids in Jamaica. You can drop off your contribution here at WCPPradio.com. WCPP Radio here at the radio station to drop off your donation. But this afternoon, we're going to speak about the Jamaica's foreign policy. Is Kamina Johnson-Smith dancing around Jamaica's foreign policy? This afternoon, we have with us retired FBI agent Wilfred Rattigan, who is also a former diplomat in his own rights. And we're going to dig deeper in this. Before we go any further, Mr. Rattigan, are you there with us, sir?
No, I'm not here with you.
Okay. You're online with us, sir. One moment for me, please. Before we go any further, let us read what Kamina Johnson-Smith said. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, has moved to explain Jamaica's absence from Thursday's high-level meeting between Venezuela and Guyana in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, hosted by Prime Minister Rolf Gonzalez. And she went on to say, Minister Smith says, while some regional leaders were in attendance at the meeting, it was not an event put on by CARICOM. Now tell me something now. Is either Mina here good where Rolf Gonzalez said? Because I know I'm getting over the gray hair, you know. So I think the ear is getting lazy. Wilfred Rattigan, you there with us?
Yes, sir.
So tell me something now, sir. Your views on all that I just read. I also have an audio clip to play, but your views on that when Minister Smith is saying that Jamaica's absence from the meeting is because it was not put on by the CARICOM community.
So frankly speaking, she lied.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that in the strictest sense of the word. She lied because what she failed to explain to everyone is that there was a meeting on the 8th of December,
mm-hmm.
and an emergency meeting of CARICOM nations, which Jamaica is a part. And for those of you who don't know, the CARICOM is comprised of 15 countries. And if you want, I can list the countries.
Go ahead,
if you want.
Go ahead, sir.
There are 15 full members in CARICOM: Antigua and Barbuda, the Bahamas, Barbados, Belize, Dominica, Grenada, Guyana, Haiti, Jamaica, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and Grenadines, Suriname, and Trinidad and Tobago. CARICOM also has 5 associate nations: Anguilla, Bermuda, British Virgin Islands, Cayman Islands, Turks and Caicos Islands. And it also has 8 observer nations. And the 8 are Aruba, Colombia, Curacao, Dominican Republic, Mexico, Puerto Rico, St. Martin, and Venezuela. Now, there was as everyone knows or should know, there is a brewing tension between Venezuela and Guyana because overland border.
Yes.
And Venezuela is claiming 2/3 of Guyana as we know it geographically today. They're
Yes.
saying that the colonial master, the UK, England, made a mistake back in the 1800s when they were carving up the territory. That
Yes.
part, and so they mistakenly gave 2/3 of Venezuela to Guyana. So Venezuela wants that land back. Now, it turns out that that land is mineral rich. They discovered oil, among other things, in Guyana. And we don't know if this is the reason why Venezuela is seeking to access that part of the country permanently, access that part of the country. But so they had a meeting. That's what's going on. There's a brewing tension between Venezuela and Guyana. So they had an emergency meeting, CARICOM emergency meeting. Out of that meeting, they advised the Prime Minister Gonzalez, who's the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Yes.
He's also in charge of, if I'm not mistaken, he's also in charge of CELAC, which is it's called the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, of which Jamaica is a part of that. He's headed up that organization.
Yes.
No. And so what they did was they said, okay, we're going to invite Guyana, and we're going to invite Venezuela, and we're going to invite a whole host of people in the Caribbean to come and try and, resolve this issue. So they had the emergency meeting on the 8th. On the 9th, Prime Minister Gonzalez sent out a letter to Guyana and to Venezuela. And the letter reads, it says right here, the leaderships of the Community of States of Latin America and the Caribbean.
Hold on for me, Mr. Rattigan. You have me on speakerphone?
Yeah.
No, sir. I think we're having some audio issue there already. Can you take it back up for me, please? Take it off speaker.
Okay, hold on a second.
We're speaking to Wilfred Rattigan, retired FBI agent and a diplomat in his own rights. Our topic today is Jamaica Foreign Minister, Senator, the Honorable Kamina Johnson-Smith, rather. Is she dancing around Jamaica's foreign policy? You heard of Mr. Rattigan?
Yeah, yes, I can hear you. So the letter reads...
You still have me on speaker? Let me have the speaker.
No, you're not on speaker.
Okay, go ahead now, sir. Go ahead.
It says, the letter is captioned, presidential meeting to be held in St. Vincent and the Grenadines under the auspices of whom? Under the auspices of CELAC and CARICOM.
Hold on there for me, Mr. Rattigan. Hold on. But yet, let me find it back. Yet, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade said why Jamaica was absent is because the meeting was not put on by CARICOM.
She's lying. She's lying. I'll read, just for the listening audience, I'll read the caption, just the caption of the letter sent out by Prime Minister Gonzalez to Venezuela and Guyana, right?
Yes.
It says here, it says regarding, that's a caption of the letter, regarding presidential meeting to be held in St. Vincent and the Grenadines under the auspices of CELAC, and CELAC is the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, of which Jamaica and Guyana and Venezuela they are part of, and CARICOM. So it's under the auspices of CELAC and CARICOM. It was a CARICOM meeting.
Yes.
Then the letter went on to say the leaderships of the Community of States of Latin America and the Caribbean, the leaderships of the Community of States of Latin America and the Caribbean community consider that it is necessary and desirable to facilitate the convening of a meeting in St. Vincent and the Grenadines on Thursday, December the 14th at 10 a.m. between the presidents of Guyana and Venezuela on matters consequential to the border controversy between these two great countries. So it was a meeting held under the auspices of CARICOM and CELAC. Now, here's what's interesting. Who attended that meeting?
There you go. Let me play that audio clipping if you don't mind. I'm trying to find it now to play it, to let our listeners know the names of the person that the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines named in his press conference to the media, which of that, the Make We Talk program end up bringing that live to a listening audience. Let me find the clip in here. Hold on for me. Let me find out when I find the clip in here.
The joint declaration of Argyle for dialogue and peace between Guyana and Venezuela reads as follows. On Thursday, December the 14th, 2023, in Argyle, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, His Excellency Irfan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, and His Excellency Nicolas Maduro, President of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, held discussions on matters consequential to the territory in dispute between their two countries. These discussions were facilitated by the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and pro tempore President of the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, CELAC, Dr. the Honorable Ralph E. Gonzalez, and the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica and Chairman of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, the Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt. Prime Ministers Gonzalez and Skerritt, together with His Excellency Mr. Celso Amorim, Special Advisor and Personal Envoy of His Excellency Luis Inácio Lula da Silva, President of the Federated Republic of Brazil, acted as principal interlocutors. Also present were the Honorable Prime Ministers of the Caribbean Community, namely the Honorable Philip Davis, Prime Minister of the Bahamas, the Honorable Mia Moore Motley, Prime Minister of Barbados, the Honorable Dickon Mitchell, Prime Minister of Grenada, the Honorable Philip J. Pear, Prime Minister of St. Lucia, the Honorable Terence Drew of St. Kitts and Nevis, and Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
Did you hear the Prime Minister of Jamaica's name or the Minister of Foreign Affairs' name, Mr. Rattigan?
No, son. I listened keenly to the broadcast. I didn't hear their names mentioned.
Go ahead, sir. Continue what you're saying, sir.
Right. So there are 15 full members, right, of CARICOM. Of the 15 full members, 9 of them attended. The 9 who attended are as follows: Bahamas, Barbados, Dominica, Grenada, Guyana, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and Grenadines, Trinidad and Tobago. 9 of the 15 attended. Now, she meaning the foreign minister, I see her dancing and she's a good dancer. And I think they call the dancer drifting, but she can't drift away from this, my brother.
What she's doing is dancing around Jamaica's foreign policy, Mr. Rattigan.
She's dancing around Jamaica's foreign policy. She's idling while serious business is being discussed in the region. And she's given the impression that, well, it might be serious for some people, but it's not serious for Jamaica. Not serious enough for us to attend. And we'll get to her motives or possible motives why Jamaica did not attend the meeting. But she went on to say that it was not a CARICOM meeting, and we know that's not true, because even if it was a CARICOM meeting, 9 out of the 15 CARICOM nations attended. And then keep in mind, as I said before, that Venezuela is an observer has observer status in CARICOM, and Guyana is a member state, full member, right? So you have two countries associated with CARICOM getting ready to fight, and Jamaica is not there. Now, if you talk about CELAC, all of these countries are members of CELAC. So Jamaica should have been there. Whether it was CARICOM or CELAC, Jamaica should have been there. But the important thing to note is that she's saying we weren't there because it's not a CARICOM meeting. And that's not true. That's not what the letter that went out says. And remember, CARICOM had that emergency meeting the day before the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and Grenadines sent out his letter inviting Guyana and Venezuela to come to the St. Vincent and the Grenadines to resolve their differences with all of these nations in attendance. So she's lying when she said it's not a CARICOM meeting. It was a CARICOM meeting. It was also a CELAC meeting, and we should have been there because we're members of both organizations. Right? The next thing is that she said, oh, she poo-pooed off. She said, oh, she said, if you notice, most of those countries, they're from the Eastern Caribbean and from the...
Hold on for me, Mr. Rattigan. I have that audio clipping too. And I want to play it to let our audience here because we don't want anybody to say that we're lying on the goodly minister and we're propagandists. But I'll listen to what she said. Listen to this, audience and Mr. Rattigan. Hold on for me.
Between Guyana's president, Dr. Irfan. Thursday's high-level dialogue has led to an agreement between Guyana's president, Dr. Irfan Ali, and his Venezuelan counterpart, Nicolas Maduro, to a de-escalation of their dispute over the resource-rich Essequibo region. The talks were arranged by Vincentian Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, in his capacity as chairman of the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, CELAC. At the end of the talks, the parties issued a statement reiterating their commitment to Latin America and the Caribbean remaining a zone of peace. The CARICOM chairman, Roosevelt Skerritt, was present for the talks, along with their regional leaders, plus officials from the United Nations and a representative from Brazil. Questions have emerged about why Jamaica, which has given strong support to Guyana in this dispute, was absent from the meeting. The matter was raised with Trinidad and Tobago's Foreign Affairs Minister, Dr. Amory Brown.
To my awareness and my knowledge, Jamaica, as another founding member of the Caribbean community, has been part and parcel of these efforts, part and parcel of the dialogue, the analysis, the recommendations, etc. Jamaica was not present yet. I read the list of the heads who were present and who came to St. Vincent to be part of this initiative. Jamaica was one of those, and there are others who did not participate in yesterday's event, but certainly in the emergency meeting and certainly in the work of CARICOM that I've chronicled.
Minister Johnson Smith took to X to explain Jamaica's absence from the meeting. She said the meeting was not a CARICOM meeting. She noted that the countries present were generally from the Southern and Eastern Caribbean. She said Jamaica, which is in the north, is leading on Haiti. Minister Johnson Smith ended her post saying there is no need to be concerned.
Mr. Rattigan.
Yes, sir.
Are you there, sir?
Yes, sir.
Then tell me something now. She's saying that is other Caribbean nation from the south and the east and the west, on the north and the east and the west and the north. Come on, Mr. Rattigan, speak to me now, sir.
Well, it just goes to show you that she's a foreign affairs dunce, because the CARICOM is comprised, as I said, of 15 nations. 12 of them are south of Jamaica. There are only 3 in the north. The 3 in the north are Jamaica, Haiti, and the Bahamas. Now, at this meeting in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Bahamas was present.
Yes.
Haiti doesn't really have a function in central government. So Haiti, you can understand why they wouldn't send anyone, because who are they going to send? And Jamaica, who has been dubbed by the Miami Herald as the mini superpower in the Caribbean, they weren't there. Now, it's true what the minister of Trinidad and Tobago, what he said, that Jamaica participated in the emergency meeting. So then the question is, if you participated in the emergency meeting, why didn't you show up for the real meeting?
That's a very good question.
And then the other, and like I said, that statement that most of the countries are in the Eastern and the Southern Caribbean, that statement is nonsensical. That I am surprised that the minister would even say that, because 12 of the 15 countries in CARICOM, they're in the South and the East. So to say what they're in the South and the East, what does that mean? What does that mean? And then she went on to say, we're busy up north trying to deal with Haiti. So therein lies part of the problem. She's saying that CARICOM, you can't go on the Jamaica will go it alone and we are going to deal with Haiti. But it's supposed to be a Caribbean community initiative. All of these things affect the Caribbean.
Yes.
Right? And its members. And so part of it, part of it too, and she was showing off last year when she was applying for the job of Commonwealth Secretary General on TVJ in June of last year. She named out her accomplishments. One of them was she said, "Oh, she's working on the CARICOM's Foreign Relations Committee." This is foreign relations. This has to do with a CARICOM full member and a CARICOM observer. And you tell me that, oh, no. They're down there dealing with that because that affects, that issue affects just them and we're up north. This woman is a foreign affairs dunce. I've been told that she's the most ill-equipped. She's the duncest. That's the word actually was given to me, provided to me. Yeah. Duncest and most ill-equipped person to deal with Jamaica's foreign affairs since they established a foreign affairs ministry. And then what do we see her doing? Dancing around. Yes. While serious issues are going on in the Caribbean, she's dancing around.
Doing drift.
She's drifting away from the issues.
If you see the video, I mean, she dances better than I do.
She's a very good dancer. I just wish and hope and pray that she'd be just as good with foreign affairs issues as she is with these dancing things.
Yes.
We didn't elect. Hold on. She was not appointed to the minister. I wouldn't be surprised if Minister Babsy Grange was doing that, because that's her ministry, entertainment, right? This lady Kamina Johnson Smith, her ministry is foreign affairs and foreign trade, serious business. And instead of attending to the business of Jamaica and the Caribbean, she's there, kicking up her heels, dancing the drift. Dance and drift, of course, but at the same time, pay attention to your work, man.
True. Because what is going on, it shed a bad light in Jamaica's foreign policy around the world.
No, here's what happened. Here's what I think happened. Two things. Jamaica was at the emergency meeting. I think what happened after was Venezuela, because Jamaica and Venezuela had a very good relationship over the years. This government followed the United States with the embargo of Venezuela. And we destroyed our relationship with Venezuela. In fact, we took over, it was Petrocaribe, and we paid them a certain amount and we took it over, right? Mm-hmm. And and then the U.S. government, yes, because of the oil shortage, because OPEC, I think, was at one point cutting back. Mm-hmm. The U.S. government went to Venezuela on bended knees, begging for Venezuela to sell them oil. This is after they said we're going to embargo Venezuela,
Right.
So they can't get Venezuelan oil. They went and they begged Venezuela to sell them oil. Venezuela is now pumping and selling oil to the United States. Where is Jamaica in all of this? We followed them down that rabbit hole. And now we can't go to Venezuela and talk about who want to buy oil from Venezuela. We cannot. So what I think happened is that Jamaica discussed it, the issue on the 8th. Venezuela wasn't present because it was all CARICOM. Yes. They weren't present as observers. They were, and maybe they just didn't even want to be there. And I think Jamaica decided that, look, we can't face these guys and try to determine their future, their country, the boundary lines. We can't do that because it's an uncomfortable position, considering the fact that we support Guyana and considering the fact that we have destroyed our relationship with them. It's either that or Venezuela must have said, it's either that or Venezuela said to Prime Minister Gonzalez, listen, if Jamaica is going to be a part of this, then all bets are off.
Yes.
And then they have to say to Jamaica, listen, don't show up.
And I doubt that, Mr. Rattigan. I really doubt that. And I know it's an opinion, but I really doubt that part. I just believe that Jamaica decide not to go for some unknown reason.
Well, look, say, and like I said, I'm just positing those two as possible reasons as to why Jamaica didn't appear. I don't know why. I'm just saying that based on the facts that I know them to be, that these two are possible reasons. But at the end of the day, you have an obligation. You, as the foreign minister of Jamaica. You have an obligation to the people of Jamaica first, followed by the community, the Caribbean community. So you need to come out and just say to the people of Jamaica, listen, we're not attending this meeting, and just give a reason. There are diplomatic ways that you can soften the edges, and that, you know, people either won't understand what you're saying, or they'll understand what you're saying and they'll realize that, okay, we can't go for a very good reason.
Yes.
But when you come out and say, oh, we didn't go because it's not a CARICOM meeting, and those countries down there, they're to the south and the east, what does that mean? First of all, it means you're a damn liar. And the second thing is, you don't know what you're talking about. Because if you realize that 12 of the 15 countries south of you, then for you to say, well, that had to do with those countries south and east and their little issues down there, how could you say that when you're part of the same group? You're part of CELAC, you're part of CARICOM. How?
That's some questions that need to be answered by the Foreign Affairs Ministry in Kingston, Jamaica, though. You don't think so, sir?
They cannot answer the question, or they won't answer the question. Truth be told, they won't answer the question. Because, you know why? If they could have answered the question, the answer they're going to give you in terms of answering the question in a truthful, forthright manner, they would have provided it when she was asked, why is it that Jamaica did not attend? They would have provided it then. But see, this is a foreign ministry beset by inconsistencies. If you recall, they executed a no vote. They registered a no vote in the United Nations on the issue of...
We're going to take a quick break, Mr. Rattigan. Just a minute, please.
You're listening to WZOP. You're listening to WZOP 92.7 LP FM.
We're not the